So this video, we're going to actually have a look at cutting in. Now, whether it's sealing to wall or whether it's down a sharp edge or even round sockets and switches, the accuracy of your cutting in does govern the quality of the overall job for your customer. So the best thing to do is once your paint is ready and you've actually mixed it up and stirred it, popped it into your paint kettle, load the brush by tapping it on the side of the paint kettle. That means you've got a lot of paint in the actual brush itself. Then when you start to apply the paint to the surface, try and stay about an inch away from the sealing line or the line you want to cut to. This makes the paint itself slide onto the wall, which then you can progressively move upwards to get more accurate across that cutting in line. And then when you are feeling nice and confident, then you can draw it in one stroke and one motion to allow you to get your cutting in. Now, to be fair, you only need to move down from that sealing line around 2 inches because the roller is going to do the remainder of the work. You don't need to brush any further. So load the paint up, slightly away from the surface to begin with. Try and make sure your brush, the wide part of the brush, is facing the ceiling. Away from the part before to begin with, nice and slowly. And then try, if you can, to pull the brush towards your head. It means you can see where you're going. If you try and move it towards you, then what it means is you can see exactly, if you move it away from you, the brush actually hinders where you can actually see where you're going. One of the other areas which can sometimes get a little bit tricky is the corner right up there, should you be doing a feature wall like this one. So when you look at a brush, especially a new synthetic brush, they're fairly accurate with regards to having a nice right angle on both corners. So what we'll be looking at doing is putting this corner into the top right-hand corner of the wall in here. So what we're doing is we're getting it up like so, and if you point it into that corner and then twist the brush very slightly up into the corner, so it's an upward motion, and then pull it to the left, that finishes that side of the corner. We do exactly the same thing, but this time with our brush pointing this way, which means that we can use that right angle to push into that corner and then pull it downwards. And all the time, you're making sure you can see what the bristles are doing, whether they're right on that line or not. If my head is here, it means I can't see what the bristles are doing. So you do have to make sure that you've got your head in the right position so you can see. So now we've got a nice sharp corner in here, and all we do is we just carry on all the way down to the bottom, which means we can then start to think about getting the roller out to finish the wall off. So it doesn't matter how fast you cut in. Slow sometimes is better. With more practice, you do get faster, and just make sure that's all nice and coated, and then we'll finish off the rest, ready to roll. I've just finished off cutting in around the skirting line, but as you can see, I've actually used masking paper. Because this is a strong colour, I've actually painted the skirting first, used my masking tape and paper to protect it. That means it's quicker for me to cut in, but also it stops any roller mottle or any roller splatter actually hitting the skirting when it goes to roll it. But what I also need to do now is just cover off cutting in around the outside of this socket. So once again, we'll actually load the brush, start away from the line to begin with that we want to keep clean, then gradually move closer. Do the same on the other side, so start away from it and move closer. Maybe reload the brush if it needs it, start away from it and go closer. And then the final one on the top. Now, what you'll find is sometimes you can see the brush marks of the crisscross motion of our cutting in. So there's some across the top here where you can see brush marks. Now, to avoid those, the last motion is a very light touch with the edges of the bristles, the tips of the bristles, all the way around the outside, and then one at 45 degrees across the corner of each one. That means that you reduce the visual appearance of any brush marks appearing around your socket. Now, don't get me wrong, you could masking tape it, but if you get a bit of practice at it, that's a quick, easy way to do it without actually needing to use masking tape on your switch.